there, Trevor. How are you doing?
Hi, Dominique. I'm fantastic. Thanks. How are you?
I am well. We just had a great 3-day holiday weekend for 4th of July, so that was really nice to recoup and replenish.
Yeah, and I notice here at Chrysalis, when you come back after a long weekend, there's always more than enough to do.
Well, you guys are doing great work, and I think that I'm really excited to talk a little more about what your organization does. And so I think before we do that, we'd love to maybe learn a little more about yourself, Trevor, and how you sort of get involved with Chrysalis.
Sure. It's kind of a long and winding road for me. I started doing nonprofit work right out of college. I grew up in eastern Montana and did nonprofit work intentionally, but then I moved to Australia where the kind of work that I was doing wasn't I couldn't find it when I moved down there. So I started doing some for-profit work with mobile phone companies and liked it and enjoyed it and stayed in that industry for 10 years kind of on accident. But then I was back in America and was at a point in my career where I got to be a little bit more decisive about what I wanted to do, and I kind of stopped and said, look, I really want to go back to nonprofit work, but I've got is this business experience. How can I leverage it to make a career back in the nonprofit space, and happen to find Chrysalis at just the right time. They own and operate businesses that have been operating for about 25 years, and need to bring what I'd learned from my business background and apply it in a way that made a difference. And I jumped at the chance, and that's been that was in 2008. So I've been here a little bit over 6 years now and haven't looked back.
Very cool. Now I know you guys have that social enterprise component to it, so we're going to get to that in a little bit later. But now that we know a little more about you, I was hoping to know a little more because I know you worked with Mobile Virgin, did you say? So I was hoping maybe you can dive in a little more about perhaps what you learned from them, because Richard Branson is just one of my greatest models, and I know all of the companies that he built just so successful. So we'll talk a little more about that. But share with us about this incredible organization, Chrysalis, a really great organization that dedicated to creating a pathway to self-sufficiency for homeless and low-income individuals. So if you can maybe share with us a little more about what the organization does, and like how long it's been around, and how it's really making a difference.
So Chrysalis has been in Los Angeles since for 30 years now. This is our 30th year, so in the mid-'80s. A young Jesuit volunteer came to Los Angeles and did a year of service, and then stayed after his year of service at another organization, and really wanted to do something for the homeless population in Skid Row. And he started by kind of doing a traditional service of make sure people had blankets and food and things like that, and quickly kind of realized, well, what these people really need is access to employment and support to get employment. So he really kind of quickly in the early days shifted focus, and we've been fortunate to remain focused on employment for our 30-year history. So we now have 3 offices. One, we're still in Skid Row in downtown Los Angeles. We're also located in Santa Monica and in Pacoima in the San Fernando Valley. So we've got 3 centers all providing the same programming, which is really based around people with the highest barriers to employment, giving them the one-on-one support that they need to come to us in a state that maybe isn't a work-ready state. We move them into a work readiness state, and then we teach them how to